Right, so I will basically say exactly what was going on before. So, um, sorry about the mic problems. That's when my mic disconnects and reconnects. It does it. I don't know why it does it, but yeah. So Kevin versus Perez. Um, Kevin obviously is a player everyone knows, and so is Perez. Perez playing for MDS. Kevin playing for CMC. Thankfully, it's age 1 actually, and I've noticed it, so I can talk through it. But yeah, that constant is going up. It was a wood start. I've said all this before, which is really annoying. It was a wood start, so that constant is going up. You're going to be seeing some shrines on the map, Portuguese consulate as well. And Kevin did get a wood start, so he's unhappy about it for Dutch. I should probably have tested my mic before I started. That's pretty bad, but it's fixed. But yeah. Anyway, yeah. So Kevin versus Perez. We went in with Dutch versus Japan. I'll explain the last playoffs week now. Basically, the playoffs are the same as the other weeks, except from only these two teams play, and it's all play all sevens. So it's a lot longer, probably 3 hours or so, as it is 7 games in a row. It's best same as best of 9 basically, in a way. But yeah, both players going for that H1 pretty well. 40 wood, 75 wood, 75 food even for Perez, 30 coin for Kevin, and also that macaque for both players. So actually, Perez having an insane age 1 here, aging up really quickly. Aging up actually around the same time as Japan. Actually exactly the same time as Japan. You can see those two numbers are synced. Let's have a look at the decks of both players. Swiss Pikeman in there for Perez, not for Perez, for Kevin. Don't know about that. That's not the best shipment, but obviously if you go cannons, it's not too bad. Yeah, let me turn. I'll do it. Actually, I'll do it in a minute. I can turn the donation stuff on, but yeah. Pretty standard deck for Kevin. He does have that Bank of Rotterdam, which you don't normally see. I think it's probably better to have something like sustainable agriculture or something in there instead, but not to really nitpick. You don't really have to. In comparison, Perez has a pretty standard deck. Does have CM in there, 14 Ashes and 4 Flaming Arrows, but again, not really anything to talk about here. 7 villagers, maybe slightly odd for a Japanese deck. I know players like Maito don't enjoy 7 villagers in their deck, but yeah, pretty standard stuff. But both players doing really standard stuff for their builds. There's 10 villagers or even 11 villagers on wood for Kevin. He's going to get 350 wood. Build that bank and shift 4 villagers to the coin mine, as well as the rest of food. There you go. You can see them just sort of shifting around. Those are going to finish. They're going to build that bank up. And Kevin could be having a pretty good age 1 in terms of macro, but treasure-wise, not too great. But yeah, you can see from the shipment set, which I looked at earlier. So I'm just eating my lunch as well. There's Heavenly Kami coming in for Perez. Instead of that, actually, he didn't even have 2 settlers, so Kevin's going to know he's gone for Heavenly Kami, but Kami's what you really want to do is Japan here. You can get loads of banks up. You can get 20 shrines up, roughly equal to a banks 5 banks of Dutch. But obviously you can talk them to anything you want, and they are cheaper. They end up being cheaper. You do need map control for them. Bit of a wall coming down there for Perez. He's playing a bit of a Yumi wall strategy, if you will. He's just building up that wall, building up a bit of a defense. But he is out on a map, obviously trying to get those shrines up and running, as well as that Explorer's actually quite next to that Peter May Explorer's next to that other Explorer from Japan. But you can see from both players, Kevin going for 2 banks and going for 700 wood. Now barracks coming down. Probably going to be some pikemen to take down some shrines. That's what you normally do versus Japan in this matchup. And probably just going to see a 4 bank FF or a 5 bank FF from Perez, from Kevin even. But yeah, I mean, Perez is on how many shrine pop now? 100 and, 110. He's on 11 shrines basically, plus two from that. No, 10 shrines because you get two from that Toshogu, and you also of course get that town center. Barrett's going down for Perez in base. Backworking coming out. Probably 600 wood next from Kevin after this, but he's going for a eco heavy build. Even with that barracks coming in, a couple of skirmishers. Would have preferred pikemen just to go for the shrines, but yeah, a couple of skirmishers coming out, which is quite good actually because it conserves the wood you can get and means you can go for 5 bank quite easily. You've got 600 wood being shipped. So some people are saying they don't understand the tournament format now. It's just these two players and it's play all sevens. Not these two, but it's just these two teams. So you have Kaiser Maito. I think it's Kevin versus King of Osman. And there's some other games. Big Winner versus Mini Mount as well, I think, is another game which is in there. But there's another one as well, which I've actually forgotten, if I must be honest. But there's 5 games in total, and we'll play all 7s. But yeah, both of these players going for an eco build. Perez nearly on his full shrine pop. And at the same time, Kevin going for 8 pikemen now instead of 600 wood. Would have preferred 600 wood. So that equates to a bank, and you can pump out some pikemen. But he does have actually no upgrades in, so he built that mark and didn't actually gain anything out of it. But he's going to utilise those pikemen just to siege down some shrines. Don't entirely know if that's the correct thing to do, but 5 more skirmishers do come out as well. And by the looks of it, Kevin is gonna age. He hasn't got any skirmishers in the queue, so yeah, he's gonna age. You can see the power of those pikes. They do a huge amount of siege damage. These shrines are cheap. They're like 72 wood each, especially with a port culture on there. And Perez is going to age. Even the second barracks going down from Perez now. And you can see the speed of that wood going up. That's just the shrines going up there, which is insane. And there's actually some bestiarios coming out. But he needs to be careful because if there's skirmishers, there's 10 skirmishers, it's more than 10, isn't it? Yeah, that's 12. 12 skirmishers out for, it's 10. 10 skirmishers will beat those bestiarios because of their range, and of course they do slightly more damage. No, they do less, but they have better range, so they can kite with bestiarios quite easily. Yeah, those pikemen aren't going to go down simply because the scum is in range, but really those bestiarios aren't a waste because the export is in effect free for Japan. But yeah, Gibson or David saying in the chat there that sending those pikemen might not be the best idea. Probably would have been better to start with pikemen instead of those skirmishers. You probably would have got an extra shrine done. And you can see now that Perez is in the age 3 and just second. Both players are aging at roughly the same time, with actually roughly similar ecos. But obviously Yumi's do very well against skirmishers, especially when they get those upgrades in, especially way of a bow with it. And they have, I think, they're the same range. They have the same range as skirmishers. Although at the time being, because of the skirmishers in there, these 2 shrines are going to go down. Don't think that big Toshogu shrine will go down. I think it's quite difficult to take down for the Dutch player. But yeah, there's nothing Yumi's here to sort of scare off any sort of pressure into the base. But he still doesn't want to take this, especially if those pikes go into sort of cover mode and they can sort of tank a few shots. There's Explorer being at the front, nicely done by Kevin there, using it to actually just soak some of those shots in the Yumis. But again, the Explorer from Perez actually doing the same. But you can see from the shrine pop, Perez still on 17 shrines, even building some more down. Actually still on the Portuguese continent, 1,000 wood now coming in for Kevin, so that's quite an eco-heavy shipment. He does have the ability to make another town centre, but I don't think he'd do it as Dutch. It's not the best idea. But you can see even more of these shrines going down, taking those hunts. And Kevin does have a couple of hunts in base, but he's not really utilising them anywhere. And he doesn't really need to get on those at all. But he has no villager upgrades, doesn't have steel traps, doesn't have hunting dogs, and doesn't have placer mines. And you compare that to Japan, who has Imperial Bureaucracy. I think that's Yakuza Lantern, so that's 15% on cherry orchards, another 15%, so 30% on cherry orchards. Obviously, you do have that to regenerative for I can't say it, forestry upgrade, which is another 30% on wood, and the blanket filters, which is only 20% when you include Imperial Bureaucracy there. But it's the Japanese eco is probably a lot stronger than Japan now, than Dutch now, and it's not looking too good for Kevin, especially once you get those upgrades in. There's infantry combat, so this is a really slow build basically from Kevin here. But the Yumis are just so good, especially with Way of a Bow now, 135 HP, 22 attack, being buffed by that Golden Pavilion there. And your skirmishers are just not as good. 20 attack, 162 HP. They just lose to the Yumis here, especially seeing as the Yumis are actually cheaper. Big villager raider as well. 4 villagers going down 1/2 HP, and that economy lead that Japan has is getting larger and larger. Samwise asking if Way of a Bow gives HP as well. It does. It gives I think 10% or 20% HP. Oh, 15%. I was wrong either way, but yeah, it does give HP. 15%, which is actually a significant amount because those Yumis obviously are light infantry, but you can see the difference there. Not actually too much lower than maybe Ashigo actually on how much HP they have. But Kevin is actually only still on 4 banks. Would have liked him to go 5, especially seeing as he sent 1,000 wood. It would have been nice. But look how many veteran hussars are here. It's basically just veteran hussars and skirmishers. If we look at military units, he is still slightly behind, but only 20 ashes there, 23 skirmishers, and 13 hussars. He probably needs another batch, but cavalry combat does come in as well. And but the problem here is Perez can just sit in base and make more ashes, and obviously ashes once they get the what's the upgrade? Yeah, there's 8 ashes coming in, but once they get close combat and they just decimate cavalry, and he needs to make that sort of. Well, it's just he can't deal with it basically. Perez even on the speed of a running upgrade, so he can just run the Yumis out of there if he needs to. Doesn't want to be taking this fight down, I don't think. Even with the batch of veteran hussars there with cavalry combat, so these are strong units, but there's just too many ashes here, and there's no the skirmishers aren't just going to be doing an attack, but very good positioning actually from Kevin. But yeah, a lot of these units are just melting. There's only 8 hussars left, 21 ashes left. Those 8 extra ashes are really coming in handy here. Skirmishers are doing good damage on the ashes, of course, but yeah, this isn't a good fight for Kevin at all. And it's a fight that it's at the point where, because of the eco advantage, any fight that Perez takes and he doesn't trade awfully, he's going to win basically. Nice wall there from Kevin, but again, he just hasn't got the advantage that he once would have. He has been using his pikes. Actually, now having 36 siege, so we do have slightly more siege because of infantry combat coming in. But yeah, these pikes aren't be doing too much. He just needs probably a bigger mass of well, not Reuters. Reuters is the wrong unit to make it. He needs sort of counter infantry rifling or something, and then just switch into skirmisher and hussar as he was. But he just needs a bigger push, and this push isn't going to be doing anything. I mean, how many Reuters is that? Sort of 20 Reuters on max, or 18, 26 against Ashi Yumi, and these Reuters are at the front line taking a lot of damage. Thankfully for him, there's no cavalry on the field, so his Reuters aren't being really used at all. But yeah, this isn't looking good at all for Kevin. Maybe if he switched into sort of falconets and was able to get sort of 5 falconets out or something, he could decimate that Japanese army, because it's just infantry, I remember. Infantry just died to falconets, so if he were to do that, it would have been quite good. But this matchup, when you get into this point, isn't great, especially seeing that you can't raid Japan. There's only on just out of base coin mode right now, and even in base one has 2,000 coin, even with 2 villagers just idle, they're not doing anything. And now he's switching into Naganatas with that upgrade on Naganatas. There you go, there's a trading post going down. I didn't even realise Japan had 2 of the trading posts. It doesn't have stagecoach, so there's not a huge difference. But yeah, Kevin now massing hussars. Honestly, he just needs falconets. I think that will probably be the only way he can sort of claw back this game. But now that the Nagis are now pumping out, even a falconet switch wouldn't be too great. It's a lot of hussars though. But again, there's more Naganatas and more Ashigaru than there is, well, Yumi. So this hutch switch isn't really going to be doing much. I don't know how Kevin really comes back here. It's not looking good for him. But saying that, these Ashigarus are just balked at the moment. 34 damage at range. So actually, if he's actually got to get into combat with the skirmishers, they probably trade quite well against them, just close to close. Especially seeing as they are slightly cheaper than skirmishers. Actually, if you look at the cost, 50. I don't know, about the same. But five hussars, I think that is coming in for Kevin. But again, 20 hussars do nothing here, especially if he's going to lose a couple to Naganatas. We're probably going to see Naganata HP coming in, which is a massive 30%, and it's just going to demolish. The big raid coming in as well, making that economic population deficit even larger. And even with this hussar mass, he's not going to be doing much here, is he? I mean, these ashes are just insane at the moment. There's not a huge amount he can do. He's even on the speed pavilion there. Actually, I think the UI is wrong. He's actually on the attack one, because those Yumis would have 22 attack normally. But yeah, I mean, he's not in a great position. He will push back here. He needs counter infantry rifling as well on those skirmishers, because of how many ashes are here. I mean, if he went counter infantry rifling on the skirmishers, had veteran Reuters, but there's Naginata HP. You can see how much HP they have, 450. They just dominate here, and there's not much that can be done. There you go, Naginata's coming in. Nice positioning from the hussars, but they do get caught by those ashes. My game's lagging a bit, that's unfortunate. But yeah, you can see these Naganatas just fucking die because of noises. And not actually a bad fight for Kevin, even though he did get the bad positioning, but these skirmishers just don't cut mustard against it. Well, actually, no, saying that, it was a pretty bad fight. There's not much anti-cap here to really deal with that Naganatas, especially when they've got 500 HP because the unit's just broken. But yeah, skirmishers go down there, they get snared, and these ashes just demolish. Yeah, this isn't good. Even with another batch of 10 skirmishers, I don't think Kevin can really claw back this game. Actually, a batch of 9 Reuters here is quite nice. He needs it to defeat the cavalry there, but again, these ashes are too fast. They do have the buff from the pavilion, which is the HP buff, and they're just going to be doing so much damage. And just demolish. And there's the GG coming in for Kevin. And Perez taking the first game. But I think Kevin just gave Perez too much time. He just let him get way over the bow. But yeah, he let Japan get way over the bow there, which is, if you let it happen and you don't pressure Japan enough, you can look at the. Oh, I can't actually go back, but it was. Yeah, there you go. It's basically the first thing you said in Fortress, and it just allows you to those Yumis to be so powerful compared to the skirmishers that you have. I will turn down my settings so it look awful, so it lags even less. Anti-aliasing I don't need. Whatever that does, I'll turn it off. I think that's all I can turn down. It's going to crash the game as well, which is the best part about it. But it's because the overlay's up, that's why. But yeah, Perez basically having too much time there. It's a hard matchup for Dutch, to be honest. So you can't really blame Kevin hugely there, but Kevin, as some people have said, has a slightly smaller civ pool than you'd expect of someone of his caliber, maybe. So being able to pressure someone who's playing Japan to play a different civ is is quite difficult. But I believe CMC picked first. Yeah, I believe CMC picked first because they are the first seed. But yeah, Kevin apparently picking Iroquois. One of their stronger civs. And on a strong map for Iroquois, actually, because you do have a Jack, so you can. You do have a Jax, and you can build a farm. Farm's obviously really good. They fatten the yaks or whatever they're called. I think they're water buffalo actually on this map. I can't remember, but I wouldn't be surprised if Perez went France, Russia. You can play quite well. Actually, Russia as the Iroquois, you don't really want to play. But there's a number of civs on this map which are quite good. You basically want something with Scout, because the Scout allows you to pick up a lot of those yaks and just, well, basically take them. And then you can, whoever gets more yaks on this map is a massive advantage. Also, it can spawn in two different ways. It can spawn with a trading post line up the top, or it can spawn with two at the back, which for a civ like Ottoman is really good, because obviously two at the back is basically an unprotected trading post line you can take. But we'll have to wait and see what Perez takes. I will look at the CMC Discord to see what Kevin has said. Yeah, Kevin basically saying he Iroquois on on this map. He's saying he could play France, but apparently his is better. But yeah, have to see what Perez picks. But I will explain the premise. Yeah, I will explain the premise of the tournament. Basically, it's got to the point where the playoffs. You got to the playoffs. CMC were first, so they are a first ranking team, which means they do get the better picks. Picking first is slightly better overall, because you don't get that last pick, if I recall correctly. But in essence, it means that both teams have 5 games, so it's basically a play all 35 with 5 different players playing play all 7s. And whoever wins most games that play all 35 is first wins 66% of the pot, whilst the second team wins 33%. So roughly for each player plus the manager, if they've got 6 players in the team, which both players do, ends up being about £200. If for first, about £100 for second. I can't remember quite well off the top of my head, but there's Aztec coming in, another strong civ on this map because of the war chief there. And yeah, Aztec versus Zero, a matchup you don't really see too often actually, because I know in previous iterations at least of EP, this matchup was heavily Euro favoured. You saw it in the TWC tournament, and basically Euro won every game. But I know Perez is really strong with Aztec, so you have to see what he does. Actually, Kevin being the stronger player apparently according to the ranks, but I know Perez plays as an El Matador most of the time. Yep, Kevin just talking to CMC, going through what he wants to do in the matchup. I think this is an interesting matchup because either Civ can sort of dictate what happens, rather than in most matchups where you have one Civ which is the one dictating, and the other one which is sort of trying to defend and get to the next stage, and then they end up winning because of it. And yeah, so I think once Kevin, yeah, play all 35 would be funny, wouldn't it? One day. But yeah, we'll have to wait and see. There you go. There's the green up. The spawn of a map matters quite heavily, because you do have the trading post line difference, as I said, and of course you do have the yaks, which both players can get if Kevin goes to a TP. Probably a bit slower age and into a fortress age, but we'll have to wait and see what the wood start is. Obviously, Perez will not go for a TP because there's not really much to do as Aztec with a TP. You have a trait of it War Priest, which gives you roughly the same XP as in TP because of its trickle is 1 a second. It is actually just a normal stop. I think that's a food stop, which means that Iroquois can go up with 14 villagers if they can get the crates that they need. You see Kevin's Explorer going straight away, going to try and get some of those yaks, try and get a good treasure. There's a good treasure, 75 food, really good for Iroquois, allows you to age up really quickly. And there's the fire pit going now. Normally you collect the fire pit, you collect the wood, we have one, there's 20 wood left, so Perez needs to finish that off. And bring the war chief back, or priest back even. Go on XP dance, or you can go on XP dance and then you switch to the other dance, which is I believe fertility dance. You switch to, which allows you to make villagers a lot quicker, which is sort of what you want to do once you get that first shipment in, and you can sneak in a single extra villager, I think, if I recall correctly. Yeah. Perez going around with those yaks. He has 2 at the moment. Kevin has 4. That's because of that Travois does actually change them, which is quite nice. If we see it with treasures, Perez picking up 45 food. Kevin actually popped at the moment, but he does have that Travois, which he will just put down. But the number of yaks actually matters quite a lot, as I said. Even if you don't build a pen or a farm, it allows you to get a number down. There's a nice 30 XP from that lion, which Perez used. Obviously, the Explorer does double the XP when it's next to it, or 3 times the XP once you get an upgrade. Perez is 1-0 up. I'll quickly change that. That 75 food I was talking about earlier is getting picked up by Perez. Kevin probably should have taken that when he could have done, but there is still the... What's he taking that off of? Oh, he took it off a coin treasure, of course. But there's still a number of treasures which are good. 5% cavalry speed is quite good, especially for coyotes and stuff. It's really good. But yeah, Perez taking 75 food, and he doesn't want that. Whatever that's called is a pretty terrible treasure, useless. 90 wood here is probably the best treasure left on the map. But yeah, both pretty standard builds here. You can go for a farm, but if you start with 100 wood as Iroquois, and you get enough yaks, but I think Kevin wants to age up quickly. Age up on 14 villagers. You can see he's got a villager in queue, and a couple being sent from that town centre, not town centre, the what's it called? Home city. Pretty standard deck. Does have High Chief, which you don't normally see, but yeah, pretty standard deck from Kevin there. Actually, the same for Perez. There's not really much to talk about here. Does have 4 Skull Knights in the 3rd age, but other than that, it's pretty standard. Oh, we do find those animals. We're going to be picked off. Actually, this matters quite a lot, what animals and converts each player gets, because yeah, if it comes down to an FB war, they do soak a bit of damage and do a bit of damage themselves. So that's quite good that Iroquois is picking them off early. Does he see the 90 wood? This 90 wood contention would be quite good because that would be an 80, basically 180 wood flip for either player. I don't know if he gets there on time. If he pulls with this Mongol Rider, does he even scout it? I don't know. No, he doesn't. Perez is going to get that. So Kevin going to lose out on basically 80 wood, but that Aztec Explorer, if he gets caught by the Iroquois Explorer, he's going to go down, but he doesn't. He just runs away. But there's the TB going up for Kevin. Pretty standard. Kevin on 8 yaks to Perez's 1 somehow. Perez must have eaten one when he aged up. But Perez going for a bit of a... Look at the text being researched. Perez going for the Shaman. Actually, both players going for the Shaman. I don't know what the Shaman is for Kevin. The Wise Woman is the... Is that the fast stage, the Shaman? I have no clue. It must be right, because it's only 4... Yeah, it's a fast stage. No, it's not a fast stage. It's 2 Travois. I've never seen someone age up with that, actually. As Iroquois, so that's interesting. But yeah, with Travois coming in, building a farm, which is quite nice for Kevin. And you can see the 2... This has been changed recently, the 2 War Hut Travois for Perez, and Kevin's just going to be staying in base, I think. He's going forward with that Travois. Didn't go for the fast stage, but does have the fast stage available to him. But yeah, he's coming forward here, placing that War Hut, and we'll have to wait and see what he ships here. And units in queue also is quite important to see what either player is doing. Yeah, both players going down with their respective War Huts. Kevin does spot that, but it's quite important. Spots both of them, knows what the age up was. Obviously, you can sort of know if what Aztec is aging up with. But there's a 2 Kanya, and they're going to pick off that. I can't say his name because it's gobbledygook, but they're going to pick off Perez's Explorer here, which is quite good. If they do see it, I don't think they did. They did cross paths, but I think the line of sight is just out there. Bit of a raid coming in, but I don't think Perez is going to lose any units here. Might lose the War Chief, War Priest, but they do have 360 HP, so it'd be quite unlucky if he did. Is it going to go down? No, it doesn't go down, so that's going to stay alive and they can heal themselves, which is one thing to note. But 5 villagers now coming in, even the second Longhouse. 10 Mates Holton coming in as the first card for Perez after 700 wood. A couple of Puma do come out as well, which are going to go around. But you can see that War Priest is what Kevin wants to get down here. Bit of a struggle getting any villagers, but he is bottling them up. Oh, doesn't nearly quite get one. One of those Kanya do go down. He needs to keep his alive though, because versus Mace, Aina, I don't believe do too well. But you can see from his build, he does have a couple of Ainas, which do obviously take out those Mace Holtons. But 2 Kanya. These Kanya haven't really done anything except for bottling the villagers up. Which, I mean, he's going to lose the last one now if Perez puts them in there. But there's 6 Coyote Runners. Which, are we going to get them? Are they off slower? Oh, nicely done by Kevin actually there. Getting his Kanya not to die. How do they get caught though? And the one which is low HP doesn't get caught. If he got one with low HP to get caught, he would have at least escaped one of these in the usable condition, but unfortunately now they're sort of useless. At the same time, number of hyenas up the top left, trying to get down that Warrior Priest. Actually quite significant to get down that Explorer if he can do, but hyenas here. Again, I don't know how well they do versus Mace Holton. I haven't a clue actually. But he needs Tomahawks here really because he hasn't got anything to actually go against those Coyotes. There's 600 wood coming in. Would have preferred crates from Kevin. Does ship them to the correct place, which is quite nice. But he does have a couple of Tomahawks. Actually, he has a couple of Tomahawks, and Tomahawks do very well against Coyotes. But he is making more and more Tomahawks here. Merchant unit population is in Perez's favour. There's not a lot of Coyotes here, and again, those hyenas do really well actually against the units there from Kevin. from Perez even, because of the they have double rate of fire and they did more damage and have more range resist than those. Actually, it's the same range resist. But it's a bit of a posturing, and there's also going to be that massive uptake of food here from Kevin in about 40 seconds. He's going to have 8 yaks he can eat, and yaks are double the speed of huntables. Bad position here from Kevin in this fight. He needs the there you go. Actually, a really bad position here. Not a fight Kevin wants to take here, especially when he's now sending crates. It's not good at all. He has got those. Oh, actually, a couple of canyons come from the side. That's really important. 5 canyon. I didn't realise those were in queue. This is a huge fight for Kevin. This is a winning fight, an easily winnable fight, especially when you're counting those yaks. Yeah, this is Kevin's game now. This fight in a bad position for both players, but actually Kevin's a 5 batch of cannon winning the fight. That was the only thing he needed to swing, and once those couple of Mace Sultans go down, these aren't expensive units. Only having 70 resources, but they're still 10 units, 20 units going down there. Basically, 36 Puma Spearmen having to be shipped. Kevin going for a much less military shipment heavy build. Perez behind on Eco, only by about 2 villagers because he does have that stagecoach in with an extra trading post on Kevin. But once you get those cows out, I mean, just look how fast Kevin's food is going up now. He just needs to send 600 gold, and I think he can age up here quite easily. Kevin didn't fast age remember as well, so he can get to the fortress age really easily. And at the same time, Kanya going around can be utilised for raiding. And there you go, there's 600 coin coming in. Kevin now stacking a load of food because of it. Probably wants to make more hyenas here, just have something cute in case there's a big push from Perez when he ages up. But what does Perez do against 6 Kanya, 5 Renegade French here, and 8 Forest Paladins, 9 Tomahawks? All these shipments in H3 are just so good. Look at text completed. Kevin hasn't even used the big button. So when Kevin ages up, if he can macro it correctly, he'll basically get 15 Tomahawks out. Would defend really easily here. Turn the game sound up slightly actually. It's not too loud. There you go. But yeah, you can just see the difference in the economy here is huge. And there's 5 Kanya as well coming out. So yeah, there's not going to be a push from Perez here at all, and Perez is nowhere near to aging himself. Coyote Combat did come in, so these Coyotes are better. They are faster as well, 6.88 speed, actually faster than other cavalry. Kanya only having 6.75. And a bit of a push here, but Kevin's now up. He just needs to basically survive when he wins. And Coyotes are good when they have Coyote Combat, but they're not to the extent where they're just going to dominate. Warhawk might go down, but Perez sort of needs those Pumas in the fight, really. And there is another Warhawk up, of course, over to the right. And look at text being researched. Kevin needs to get the big button tech in, which he will get in just a second, I hope. He has the food for it. But again, I mean, if he sends Renegade French here, oh, there's 5 Musket Riders and 5 Elite Forest Brothers coming in. That wasn't even a shipment, that was just being created, and there's going to be probably 8 Forest Brothers coming in as well, or even 5 Musket Riders, and really, I don't know what Perez can do here. He's behind on Eco, behind in age, going to be behind in military shipments in a second. If Kevin can micro this correctly, he'll be completely fine. And I assume there's going to be probably a batch of 5 Musket Riders coming out, or 6 Kanya or something like that from the shipment, and we'll just dominate. Yeah, there's 5 Musket Riders coming in. These are better than Dragoons, remember, significantly better actually, and another 4 Musket Riders. They don't do particularly bad against ranged cavalry actually, because of the way they fire and their range. But yeah, this is Kevin's game to lose now. I don't think there's a way that Kevin can even lose. Yeah, he can even go in here against the mace just to fight it. Probably doesn't want to, probably just wants to mass. There's probably some cavalry, other cavalry, or just mass forest pilots because of how powerful they are. Longhouse going down there. And Actually, does he get the farm upgrades? Doesn't get the farm upgrades, but he can do in a second. A lot of coin here coming in. I think Kevin probably going to go for the Renegade French at some point as well, which is 5 cuirassiers, which is really strong as a shipment. But yeah, you can see the mass here, and I think Perez probably trying to Warpriest boom himself, yeah, or at least try and bolster his forces with Warpriest, and that's the only really shipment he can send here. Did send 10 mace, 9 mace, 6. Yeah, he sent every single shipment he can send, which is military based. A lot of villagers here on the peripheries as well. Actually, a nice pop of those coyotes, but really they're not going to be doing too much. Because of those musket riders, it does get probably a better trade than ever would be able to do normally, just because of how those popped the musket riders in the wrong position. But really, once he scouts down, what is there for Kevin to do? Except him just win the fight. There you go. He's just gonna win the fight now because Mace are just so bad against Pros brothers. Well, I don't know why Kevin is just standing here. The musket riders, he probably wants to keep those alive. Actually, more coyotes coming out. These do produce very quickly, and with combat darts, and they deal with decent attack and damage. But yeah, these musket riders are just dominating. Even if Kevin is getting a much worse fight, so he shouldn't really be able to at this point. And yeah, he's even now going into Kanya. Probably going to see 6 Kanya coming out, and he's just going to dominate this. There you go. And there's Perez resigning, as there's nothing he can do here. So 1-1 to both players. And yeah, once that big fight, if we look at the post game here, if we look at the military unit population, you can see this fight at the start. There's no way Perez should have actually lost that fight. But the Canyons just came in that batch. There you go. So you can see right here that won Kevin the fight. I mean, he was dominating beforehand, and down to 12 military population from 38 is just hard to see really. But we're joining into the next one. It is Perez to choose first. So Kevin does get to counter pick. I have no clue when the reset is in a best of or play or 7. Probably after game 4. Is the game up? Yeah, it's up. I don't know what map it is either, so hopefully they know which one. It's Iowa. A good map. I enjoy this. I saw GUA turtle in the corner on this map yesterday, so that's good to see. But Perez chooses Ottoman. Yeah, Ottoman coming out for Perez. We're probably going to see Kevin. Kevin counterpicking this. Maybe saying he might go Germany. Have to wait and see what Kaiser replies to that one. But yeah. Yeah, and so it's 1-0. They play or 7, so they've still got 5 games to play. So someone has to win. It can go very, very close. But obviously, in this type of format, every single game matters, which is the main thing to point out. I will pick up some of the people's predictions. I'll look at the. I'll have a look at the ESOC prediction thread. See what people have predicted, especially Soldier, seeing as I have a bet with him. Where are predictions? I think it's playoff preview. No, it's not that. I'll find them in a second if they're ready up. Yeah, Soldier, there you go. So Soldier predicted this to go 5-2 to Perez. So if Kevin gets one more game, Soldier's prediction is wrong. Let's look at other people's predictions. Noel did the same, 5-2 to Perez. So it looks like the Americans are wrong, mostly. Harcher, 4-3 to Perez. A bit better. And of course, Daniel, the leader of CMC, went 4-3 to Kevin. And we'll have to wait and see what they do here, what either player does. Germany coming out for Kevin. I'm the same colour. Okay, that's interesting. Yeah, so Kevin's picking Germany. Obviously a really strong Civ versus Ottoman. You can just go Warwagon and be really fucking annoying because Warwagons just beat everything that Perez can make, really, because unless he gets an Ottoman, an Abascan mass. But yeah, we're going to go into this. It is Iowa, a map which has interesting TPs and interesting native TPs. Apparently I'm too low, so I will turn myself up once we get into game. I'll check the map first as well. Seems to be fine. Yeah, it's fine. It's actually mirrored. Yeah, the map is completely fine. I will turn myself up slightly. There you go. I should be relatively louder now. But it is a wood stop for both players. Probably better for Germany here. Allows you to get trading post nice and early. The one you want to go for is this one here, which you can see Perez running all the way down to the left. But at the same time, Perez gets that mosque up as well, which is another 0.7 XP a second, which is nice, especially early on. It allows you to get the free settlers out very nice and quickly. But yeah, that trading post is going up, as is the trading post of Perez. He's going to get the batch of XP ever so slightly quicker. But other than that, there's not really much difference. And I believe the person on the bottom left always gets it first anyway, so it makes no difference. But yeah, there you go. He's going to get that XP up. We'll have a look at what Kevin is doing. Pretty standard Germany stuff. Gets the house up and running really quickly, because it actually I believe it was a 300 food start as well, which for Germany is the best start you can get. But you can see 80 food now coming in, probably for Kevin. He does have a crack shot. Did get 70 food as well, which is a really strong thing to get. He is just utilizing the ability. If you imagine treasures, they have a bit of a circle around them. There's an interjection video that tells you about kiting treasures. Is basically, he says there's an imaginary circle and you have to look around it. And if you stay on the edge of the circle, you kill them. What's annoying is these bears can run off and reset themselves, and it's going to do that right now, which is really unfortunate for Kevin. But I think he'll just stand there and wait for the crack shot. That's the smartest thing to do. But he actually already has it, so it doesn't matter. But yeah, there's There's Shamiz Mohammed, who doesn't actually find anything for Perez. Does actually find 135 XP, actually. I tell a lie. But I believe 80 to 70 food are probably better. So Kevin having a really nice age 1 here. 75 food as well. If he gets his food treasure as well, he could probably edge up with 17. Or he could probably edge up with 16 villagers if he does. Silk Road coming in for Perez. Not entirely sure I like that against Germany, because Germany obviously is going to try and have a trading post. Yeah, I don't know if I like Silk Road, especially seeing as he didn't actually keep a crate. So if you're going for Silk Road here, the better thing to do is you ditch the mosque. You go, you keep each one of the crates, each one of the wood crates with 20 wood in, and it allows you just to go with a 300 wood start, and it effectively gives you that Silk Road as straight away a 200 wood advantage from Silk Road. So I think it's probably better to do that and then wait for the mosque. You do miss out on the shipment ever so slightly slower, but with 135 XP especially. Obviously he doesn't know he's allowed to have that. But yeah, I don't know if a trading post is the best idea there. Well, a mosque is. You should have left the wood. It's a better thing to do. But yeah, the Matador, or Perez, whatever he likes to be called nowadays, the bullfighter, I think is what Matador means in Spanish, does get another trading post down. And there you go, 40 food and base coming down for Germany. So Germany's actually got an insane amount of food. Kevin got 75 food, 80 food, 70 food, and 40 food. Adding all that up, that's what, 120, 190. About that math, so 265 food plus 40 XP for Kevin there. So that's a big swing. That's what, 520 food swing or something like that, which is really, really good. But yeah, Ottoman going for Silk Road, does have 2 TPs, but again against Germany, I don't think Silk Road's the best thing to do here. Did go for 700 wood straight away, and these do represent 625 wood and 125 wood, so that's an extra 150 wood. But it's basically a shipment which it takes a long time to pay off, and it makes TPs roughly a villager better. But once you give Germany time, you allow Germany to get to age 3, you allow them to get those really, really strong war wagons out. This is probably Kevin's purpose-built anti-Ottoman deck. He does have cavalry attack and cavalry HP, which improves both war wagons, and this one doesn't give Ulan, so it's not so good. But yeah, he just has all the upgrades to war wagons in there, and once you get war wagons with cavalry caracol, they're just insane versus Ottoman. And of course, Kevin as a player is really well known actually for war wagon micro. I mean, he's at what, Colonel level 37 or something, and he's probably got the same sort of war wagon micro as players much better than him. Well, not much better than, but better higher rank. It's quite incredible actually to watch him micro. And Abbas guns, obviously, even if you're in age 2, age 2 we only have 18 range, actually have less, exactly the same range as an upgraded war wagon, but they do at least have 19 in age 3. But you can see those couple of Janissaries are going to go on that trading post. A couple of crossbowmen coming out for Kevin. I like this. Allows him to utilise at least a couple more passes from that trading post. But by the looks of it, age 2 Abbas Jan is what's going to go on for Perez here. And Kevin sort of stuck in age 2 here, making crossbows, which isn't the greatest thing to do, obviously, against a player which can have Abbas guns. It doesn't even have a stable up as well, which is what you really need against Abbas guns. But a couple of his Janissaries are at least going to go down. Don't think he's going to get that trading post down. Does net himself probably an extra stagecoach pass, so even those 5 crossbows do make sense. Minimount saying he once saw Perez carrying a full squad of ducks while fighting off Corona with only salt and limes, which I don't really know what that's about, but yeah, those Janissaries, they can't really siege that, but Abbas gun's now coming in, he's just dominate crossbows. It's pretty hilarious actually how unfair these units are. You can see 5 basically units are costing 150 resources each, dominating those crossbows and making it so he gets that trading post down. But again, Kevin not in a bad spot. He sent 700 coin, he's going to age. Has enough wood there, 500 wood, trading post I believe was on wood the whole time. Gets a couple of raids out from those settlers, from those, not taxpayer research, that's the wrong one. Units lost. Actually didn't get a single raid out, but and Perez is going to aid as well with that trading post line. So this is roughly the same as 20 villagers when you account for, oh no, not 20, about 15 villagers when you account for Silk Road here. And oh, that's not too good. But he is just sending coin shipments, and each one of these is buffed or hell and back. But we'll have to see what Kevin does. I think he's just going to pump out War Wagon Scum, which is what you do against Ottoman normally. And he needs to put pressure on when he gets up. He needs to actually speed up, sort of put pressure on, take out the trading posts, and because if you let Perez sit on trading posts, especially when he's now getting upgrades in Abbasid Market and Hunting Dogs, I believe a player who did this exact build was Lord Raphael, actually, back in the Triciv Cup. Way back on Arkansas, I believe. He did this against Kaiser's Iroquois or something like that, and did Silk Road and ended up winning. Kaiser also did it against Maito in the last EPL way back. So that's it's a build which has been around for quite a while, at least by top players. But Kevin, again, known for his War Wagon micro. He's going to have some War Wagons out. There's 2 in queue. He can get a batch of like 10. Well, not a batch of 10, obviously you can't make a batch of 10, it's not Japan, but you can make a batch of 5, get 3 out from the shipment. Also, those Black Riders are very, very strong against Ottoman, because they're basically Dragoons with more damage, and they also have melee resist, so they don't lose effectiveness like to how Dragoons lose effectiveness because of their range resist not being used by Abbascons. But War Wagons here are just insane units. 2 Falconets coming in as well. One thing to note as well is Falconets do particularly badly against War Wagons. So again, it's basically if Kevin can get War Wagons out, he's fine. There's a batch of 5. Nice macro there from Kevin. And those crossbows are sort of useless now, but he can at least use them to poke with Janissaries a bit, get a bit of damage in. But if we look at units in queue, more and more of these veteran Janissaries in queue. But again, I think Kevin's fine here, especially if he sends 3 War Wagons now and can get out then sort of 8 skirmishers, he's completely fine. There's nothing to worry about, especially with his micro. 8 skirmishers. Again, I would have preferred War Wagons, but by the looks of it, he's probably going to have another 5 out, I assume. And those Ulans do also help. Does have the Lakota settlement in, which is nice, but Perez going up for another town centre. Actually 2, no, it's only 1. I thought I was over here for some reason. That's me being stupid. But going up for another town centre, aggressive town centre as well, actually, and basically on the other side of the players' side. And is it going to get spotted? That Shamaz Mohammed is actually on low HP, and if he goes down, this would be quite big. Town centre obviously is on a decent amount of HP still, but does he go down? No, he doesn't quite, but that town centre is going to lose a lot of its HP in this. 2 Falconets are still there, so he needs to be careful. Does that town centre go down? But that's basically a 500 wood swing. Does he get it down? No, he doesn't, but he does get the Explorer down, which is going to buy him a bit of time to get a bit of a push there and take it down himself. Perez, I think, just rebought it. You don't see a message. Yeah, he did just rebuy it. So that's basically a 200 coin swing there. And that town centre, when it goes up, it's going to be low HP. But that's quite a big push there. Quite lucky. And if that Ottoman Explorer gets spotted by those Ulan, it's going to be huge. If I turn on Fog of War, that's probably the best thing to do here. And Kevin just massing War Wagons now. He saw those Falconets. He knows that's what he needs to do. He's going to probably, Janissary combat now coming in. He needs to probably send 3 War Wagons, and if he gets another batch of 5 out, it will be go time for him almost certainly. Yeah, 3 War Wagons coming in. Going to try and get a batch of 5 out, and he needs to push at this point. I think Perez is probably going to get that town centre up if Kevin doesn't push right now. But losing all that HP is quite significant. Will allow him to get Minutemen out right at the front, which is quite nice. There you go. Gets that town centre out, instantly rebuilds it. But that probably resulted in sort of 5 villagers dying, or not dying, but not being birthed. Nobody in there being producing them, and also, what is it? It's 500 wood for town centre. Probably about 200 wood there spent on that repair, and so it's very significant. And Ardavus doesn't have cav combat on those war wagons. Would like to see cav coal as well. It's quite an expensive thing to do. I found basically 500 wood, 200 food if I recall correctly, or 550 wood accounting for the arsenal. But here, this is going to be quite big. There's no anti-skirmisher unit here. The Falconets are quite far behind. Skirmishers do get a couple of picks off. Kevin now making some skirmishers as well. And those war wagons obviously do very, very well against the Janissaries, even with the Janissary combat and veterancy coming in. They do have 28 attack, but if Kevin can utilise his kiting, war wagons always win that fight. A couple of villagers also going down. Kevin still ahead on eco when you account just for villagers, but roughly equal now, I believe. And it's actually about time for both players to utilise their Inca settlement. Well, that's interesting. So the Inca settlement has a Incan road building technology, which is 20%, which is quite good. It allows Janissaries to be, I think, 20% is what plus point, so it's 4.8, which with war wagons being quite slow for speed, allows them to actually do quite well. Kevin probably just waiting on cav combat now. Yeah, cav combat straight away coming in, and this is Kevin's push here, even with advanced arsenal. So what these Janissaries are doing is they're getting Incan road building, and they're getting the extra bonus as well, which allows them to be roughly the same speed as the war wagons. But again, if he gets Caracol in, he'll still be fine. He basically just needs Caracol, and it negates all what he's doing here, even with skirmishers. So these Janissaries, military drummers also coming in. Oh, this is not good positioning at all from Kevin. He needs to get back here. This is pretty awful positioning actually, but he's just trying to get the Falconets down, gets the Falconets down, and now he just needs to pull back. But these Janissaries, once they get those 2 upgrades in, they will be about 5.2 speed, which is really, really significant actually, roughly the same speed as upgraded Ashes with the Pavilion upgrade. But it's also time for dog soldiers as well. I mean, it's sort of 15-minute mark, and if he can snare with dog soldiers and utilise the war wagon HP, actually one of those on 9 HP, but utilise the war wagon's ability to get extra speed. But you can see how fast these Janissaries are coming in. 5.2 speed. This is like having fast dops. They're just insane. And Kevin needs to be able to utilise his war wagon kiting, otherwise he's going to be dominated. But again, just look how good this kiting is. It's just insane. Like, someone his level, I mean, Kevin's... I don't know how to explain it. I don't think I've seen a player kite as well as he does with these war wagons. I mean, war wagons are the clunkiest units in the game to kite, and even with 5-speed Janissaries, he's doing well. Does probably need something to snare them, but these units actually have insane attack now, 31 attack. It might get caught off here because of it. If he gets a snare, he's probably dead, which is what's so bad about it. But and that doesn't have anything in it, so that outpost. But Kevin needs to do something soon, otherwise he's down in the gutter really. And you can look at Perez's score here; it's so far ahead. He does have roughly equal actually eco now, and these Janissaries, look how fast they are. It's just insane. Even a stable coming down does pick off some villagers here. Villagers actually probably helping a Janissaries there because of the sort of semi-snare they do from the blocking. Kevin not being... not in a great spot here, really. He needs Caracol, really, for extra range. And he's now even going to get snared, and when the snare comes in, he's going to get dominated, and there's... Hessian Jaegers is good, but we don't have enough speed. They're going to get dominated by the Jans. He does have Arsenal coming in, and the Abbas can look at the speed of his units. It's insane, 5.2 speed. And AA sort of, if anything, I think Kevin sort of needs to get the speed upgrade himself. He's behind on eco. He's going to be even more so behind on eco. There's fights everywhere. Kevin nicely resigning actually. And I think the speed from the Incan row building sort of winning the game for Kevin, for Perez, and going 2-1 up. 5.2 speed Jans are just too good. With look at the damage, 31 damage, 300 HP. And Abasgun's also having the same. I don't know if it's buff Abasguns though. It must do, but yeah. Advanced also does buff Abasguns as well, 46 attack. And even 11 attack in hand-to-hand combat. And I think it came down to the map. If those Incan, if you didn't have the Incan trading post, I feel like Perez's build wouldn't have worked so well. Like the speed is just insane, and even with Jaegers, they don't really do much, unfortunately. But we will back out. We'll have a look at the military unit population. You can see Kevin, I think, significantly ahead here, and it's just the speed. The speed won him the game, which is unfortunate for Kevin, obviously, but fortunate for Perez. But we'll go into the next game. Party to Kevin Italian. There you go. Apparently I didn't join. It's weird. Kevin is to pick first. Yeah, I have no clue what the map is next. Bering Strait. A map with a lot of wood treasures. But Kevin is to pick first. I'll have a look at what they're talking about in the CMC chat. See what Kevin wants to pick. I don't know what Kevin's picking. I can't really say anything. I mean, there's Bering Strait. We've seen both players play. Ottoman, Aztec, and Iroquois. We'll have to wait and see. Kevin picking India. Not a map you see too often. And Kevin is to counterpick it. Or Kevin Perez, even, to counterpick it. So India is a civ you don't really see too often because it's apparently terrible. According to obviously the late Sompu, doesn't play the game anymore. This account's deleted, but apparently it's really, really awful. So yeah, we have to wait and see what Perez picks. Yeah, so Perez to pick whatever he wants. He can't pick Ottoman, can't pick Aztec, can't pick whatever Japan. Japan actually really strong versus India, probably the strongest versus India, but you can't beat Yumi. China versus India, a matchup which is interesting because obviously China. But yeah, Kevin to green up now. He can green up whenever he wants to. I sort of wish players would green up faster because it's a bit annoying, if anything. Like, that's the worst part of the EPL because people talk to each other in the Discords. Players don't really green up. As ever, the game turns into a Lord Raphael lobby where he just waits for an hour. But we'll have to wait and see. There you go, we're greening in. And China versus India. I don't know what has happened there, but we have to green in again. There you go, bearing straight. A map, which is pretty boring. Just 2 TPs. Not really much of a difference. But yeah, we have to wait and see. There you go. India starts with a wood start, I believe. Actually, let's have a look at China. Yeah, wood start. Probably better for China. Allows them to get a TP up nice and early. Place that down. Two of those Kevin explorers are going to go around. One of them goes and gets the monkey. I don't know what Kevin's doing. He's having a bit of a attack of conscience, maybe. Not knowing what to do, but yeah. There's 80 coin. There's 45 coin. But yeah, Kevin going on to the to wood there. There you go. He's going onto the wood, and then he's just going to go a couple of villages onto food. Standard India stuff, really. Not much to say about it. Kevin is actually popped him, but he's not going for a 10-10. I find that. Yeah, a reasonable amount of time is fine in between games, but if it's like 10 minutes and you have a play or 7, it means you end up having an hour where you wait in the lobby, which is a wasted time. Especially seeing as the time in between, like reasonable is like 2 minutes to talk about matchups and stuff, or like 5. It's not like 10. It's a bit ridiculous. But 40 wooden base found by Kevin. Does China found anything? I don't even know. No, China hasn't picked up anything yet. He's going to pick up Trapped Monkey, probably one of them. Probably wants to. Trapped Monkey is pretty good. Basically acts as another explorer. Sort of a disciple, sort of explorer. 45 coin can be picked up from Kevin as well. There's not great treasures on this map, except from there's 95 wood, which really is the premier treasure. I don't know what happened now. The game just apparently just stopped. But Indian elephant. Gonna walk around. Probably see about 40 wood. 95 wood is the big treasure, as I said. By the looks of it. Perez gonna be picking up 95 wood as well, so having a stellar age one actually. Even if he's actually hasn't got a single treasure yet. Probably Kevin having a better age one, but that extra wood start is just so good for China. Oh, it's good for India as well actually, to be honest, so it's probably even. Yeah, that wood treasure getting picked up, which is nice. And really there's not really much treasures left, is there, as a monkey, which never apparently gets picked up. And there's also 80 coin, as well as 45 coin, which is okay, I guess. Good for China, which if you want to age up really quickly, it's good. But yeah, I mean, distributive isn't coming in. We'll have a look at both players' decks. Semi-forward aggro here. Is it an aggro, or is it a... It is an aggro, it's not a Kali Marta. Look at the Indian deck, pretty standard. 4 Mahouts in the last age there. Obviously Mahouts for a time were just broken versus China, but they have been changed. So they're not just broken because they have heavy infantry. Modifier Hours, 2 Howders in deck, which I quite like, and Elephant Combat. Does have 10 Tiger Claws in deck, but really there's not much to say here. 600 wood I disagree with slightly, because it's not the best shipment, but yeah, there's not the most interesting deck from Kevin there. Pretty standard. In comparison, Perez, having a pretty standard deck as well, does have the Boxer Rebellion card, which is really strong against India. Does also have Diplomatic Intrigue, which is standard. I don't know why I even said anything about it, but yeah, pretty standard deck. Maybe slightly more FI oriented for the Japanese player, not Japanese player, but the Chinese player, but really not much to talk about. What's he edging up with? He's edging up with the normal wonder, the Forbidden Palace. So that's 400 food when you edge up. Yeah, he's got 4 villagers on there, not going for a Mito FF, where you don't utilise the coin crate. But yeah, pretty standard build from both players now. Not much to say about it. Is Consulate going down? Is he going for a Consulate rush? That's possible, but he is quite far away here. It's going to be quite a slow rush if he does go for it. I'll have to wait and see what the first card is. If it's 300 export, that signals to me that it will be a Consulate rush. 20 out of 20 population is just because of the villagers, and of course you have 2 Sepoy. Actually, is that? Yeah, he's gone for 300 export here, and he's going to go for a rush with the old consulate. Don't know if I go Ottoman consulate or if I go British consulate. Text being researched is what's important there. Units in queue. Does have sepoys in queue as well. Picking up a trapped monkey there, Perez. But diplomatic intrigue, as I said, needs to kill that disciple really before he spots anything. I don't think he did. The disciple's area of seeing area line of sight is like this, so he wouldn't have seen the consulate. And not seeing that consulate's quite big. Perez just going for the straight FF here, as China normally would do. And once you see, there's some sepoys, and probably going to see 5 sepoys coming out, as well as a batch of musketeers. And this is going to be quite a hard push for India to hold. Does go up with, I believe that's even the porcelain tower. If we look at text being researched, it is the porcelain tower. And this is going to be quite a scary push here, although it's sort of all in for India, because you don't have the ability to send Ottoman Minutemen, or not Ottoman men, Ottoman Stetlers, because you've already used that 300 export. Probably 5 more musketeers or sepoys coming in for the Indian player in just a second. But is India going to circle siege the TC? I don't know what India's going to do here. Does have a village? Obviously villagers are quite strong here. Allow China to keep their units in, and with the sepoy buff from the musketeer, everything from the what's it called, the consulate there, does allow him just to sit underneath everything. He's going to get a consulate, that village down, and 4 Sowars coming in as well, because that porcelain tower is being built very slowly as well. You have to remember, without any units on the Wonder, it doesn't go up very quickly at all. Just have a single one, but that's just going to run away. Probably going to be trying to sneak in a consulate somewhere, Perez. Yeah, a consulate at the back here, which when the age is up, a consulate plus that as well. This is a lot of villages are going to go down here, though. This is huge for India. India going to get 5 villagers there. It's massive. In Chinese monk gun gun is also quite big, allows them to get another shipment in. Chukanu's coming in now, probably going to be doing Minutemen if you look at text being researched. I think it's text being researched, yeah, Minutemen and those pikemen from the other side. But actually, because of how the range of these sepoys, needs to probably take back these Sowars. He needs to keep them alive. And there's another batch of 5 sepoys. Tiger Claws will also be good here because of the possibility of arquebusiers being shipped as he ages up. But it's probably going to be intervention. And there you go, there's the stomp coming off, nicely done. And India in a nice position here. Going to be going over to the left, boxing all these units into the town centre. He needs to be wary of that easy peasy Perez man here. Which does go down, giving him another batch of XP when he comes out. What Perez probably wants to do actually is ship that intervention, and although he can't because he's sent them to news, so this isn't good for Perez at all. Don't know if that town centre will go down, especially if Tiger Claws don't come out. Actually, Foreign Logging coming out instead, but he wants to try and keep that Goswami Turas man alive, the elephant alive. And there's a lot of villagers in here, 18 bailed up. Not great, but there's villagers. He's trying to buy time with his villagers here, and not going to get a single kill on those villagers because of how quick Perez is. Redcoat's coming out, which is nice. If we look at military units, this is probably good for Perez. 7 Redcoats left. Sepoy are roughly the same as Redcoat. Actually, they're worse than Redcoats. But actually, sort of Moore's Law comes out here. Less units end up dying, and more units end up winning. Even more Sepoys coming out from the side from Perez. Perez from Kevin. And there's not a lot of Sepoys left, and there's not a shipment ready for the Indian player. Not the Indian player, the Chinese player even. More villagers going down. That villager population difference, even with the Porcelain Tower, is quite significant now. That easy peasy probably wants to kill him again for a 90 XP. That's quite significant when he gets that. That cover mode being pretty BS, but there you go. And there you go. That town centre still at risk. Again, he wants Tiger Claws now, really. Tiger Claws here, because he doesn't have a stable, I don't think. No, he doesn't have a stable. He is sending 600 coin here, which He basically needs a unit which can take out Arquebusers. But again, this town centre is going to go down, almost certainly. He wants to stay on that. Kevin, stay on the town centre. It's unlucky. The shipment's not coming in 40 seconds, so that town centre not going down is it's quite unfortunate and might actually end up being game losing. Yeah, 10 Arquebus. He would have got that out. He would have got that town centre down. That's pretty unfortunate. War Academy going down. That town centre is going to get repaired. Although, again, I don't think Kevin's in a bad position. He's ahead on eco. China has a much slower XP curve now because he hasn't got any units that hasn't been able to pump them out. He doesn't want to lose units like this. He needs to pull them back. He needs to keep some of those sepoys alive in case a meteor hammer pop or something comes out. Porson Town on 400 wood here. So he's got to repair that town centre up. But that's again another 200 wood being spent on that. And unfortunately for him, Kevin is aging. What is he aging with? If we look at text being researched, I think that's the intervention one. Oh, no, the Charmanar Gate, which is a single Mahout. And then he's probably going to send 3 Mahouts. He's also got 2 shipments stacked. That's insane. 2 shipments versus when you're stacked is really, really good. Moore's Law, thank you, Harcher. Thank you for... It's not Moore's Law. Moore's Law's the CPU one, isn't it? What is it called? It's not Moore's Law. Yeah, Moore's Law is like CPUs become more and more efficient or whatever. It's something else. There's a law which dictates how many... If you have more units, you end up winning, basically. And no matter how powerful units are, or whatever. But yeah, I mean, China is in a rough position here, behind on eco versus India. They do have a number of shipments they can send still. Changdao being strong. Obviously, that's the wrong deck. Do have Ming troops. Ming Iron troops are good. And you saw Kevin or Perez quite heavily on coin there. There's the Fortress Age coming for Kevin, but what he wants really is he needs some cavalry and go in with Sepoy, or probably Sepoy Mahout, I assume is what he's going to do. And you can see from the population that he's actually capped. Did send a shipment in, so we'll have to wait and see what that is. It's not a shipment with high population. It might be those Urumi. Mahout actually being really good here. Takes out the Chinese monk. Not a lot of Changdao here to take out those... move your units, Kevin. Please. But Mahout actually just basically drawing the fire, which is what he needs. And when those Changdao goes down, there's not going to be any anti-cavalry, although there's a couple more coming out. And this is a good fight for Kevin, especially now that you have Disciplined Sepoy as well as that Mahout being on British Consulate with not as much HP as it needs. And Kevin doesn't need to push it, he's ahead on eco. And yeah, China. I don't know who's really winning here actually. China obviously behind on it on population and score, but yeah, I mean, India's not in a bad spot. Actually, honestly, the surgeons wouldn't be bad here because of how much HP all these units are on. Sort of low half HP. 2 surgeons on that British consulate end up being quite good, but Kevin not in a bad position. China losing 6 villagers there, 6 Changdao, 7 or 6 pikemen, 7 Changdao, 13 we go Chukanu, 9 redcoats, 5 arquebusiers, a disciple, a village, and a monkey. But at the same time, he didn't go up with that Skirmwander. Is also about to have 400 export he can use. These units are buffed, the arquebusiers, but again, he had to ship those Chukanus, which ended up basically meaning his unit composition is much much less than it would be at this point. I mean, you can look at the military unit population difference there. Discipline in the house, now there's 5 on the field or 6 on the field when you account for that 1 from the age up, which is just insane. Yeah, there you go. Duck correcting me. Lancaster's Square Law, apparently, is what it's called. But there's not a lot of Chang Dao here. There is still Minutemen he can call. But these are my hounds. I mean, this is roughly the same as what? 10 cuirassiers or something? And there's not a huge amount of anti-cav here. And this is just really, really good for Kevin. And I think these... Oh, a couple of meteor hammers do come out, which is nice. That batch of cavalry from China will help him against the house. But again, I mean, Kevin's in just a nice position here. Even the Mansaval Sepoy coming out, which is nice. And... yeah, I mean, he can get back here, and I think just the longer this goes on, the better it is for Kevin. But he doesn't want to allow anything like Manchu to come out, because Manchu here would just dominate, just destroy these Discipline Mahout because of how slow they are. One thing that he needs to do is he just needs to get on, as Archibu says. And luckily these units aren't fucking awful at pathing, so they might not be able to do it. But again, he can just wedge in here, right click, do the David of just putting his hands on his head and probably win this fight. I mean, it doesn't really matter what goes on here, I don't think. A couple more Mahouts are still alive. Probably Howard is going to come out in just a second. Actually, even repelling volley coming in Perez, so Perez is going quite heavy on the eco sort of military unit upgrade cards, and this isn't good for Kevin at all, for Perez at all. Even if he's going to get a decent trade, probably better trade than he should do. That town centre is going to go down in just a second, and probably want to go for War Academy instead, or the Boston Town's probably stronger to go down here, but yeah, this isn't good at all for the Chinese player. Nine Seaports now coming in. You can look at the military difference. There's no way Perez is coming back from this. It's impossible. Minutemen didn't even pop actually at the right time, but again, it's just not going to do anything. I mean, Perez doing a bit of Turking here, a bit of GUAing, I'm now going to call it, because GUA did it yesterday. But yeah, I mean, even with 5 meter hammers, he's going to lose, and there's the GG. And 2-all. So, according to 3 people, if Kevin doesn't win a single match, Kevin should not win another single match in the next 4 games, or 3 games actually. Then their prediction will be correct. But yeah, not a great game from China, I don't think. Really, he just went too heavy on the eco card. I mean, military upgrades are good, but when you only have a small mass of units, I think I'd rather have 11 Chang Dao there, or even 5 meteor hammers or something like that. It would just been better. And we're going to the next game, Perez versus Kevin. There you go, if the captain wants to play. Mo is hosting on EP. And it is, I believe, Perez to pick first. Okay, so it's Dakar next. So I'm gonna expect Perez goes Ottoman. Oh well, Lumico's there as well, which is a map you start with an extra 100 wood, which is really strong as Ottoman as well. As Dakar. Obviously, Dakar is an interesting map. You do have the water in the middle, and you have the water on the other side. You do have a trading post line as well, and you have that Bhakti TP. Actually, it has been changed to just be Bhakti. It used to be Chakram as well, which was one of the worst TPs ever. But yeah, that's been changed. Yeah, so we'll have to wait and see what Perez picks. I'd be highly, highly surprised if he picks anything but Otto again. Again, he's really, really strong with Otto. But yeah, I mean, as Perez, he picks first. Depends who he does. Yeah, I'll restart for sound as well, just to make sure it doesn't bug. But there you go. There you go. Perez, awesome. To be expected, really. Just a really, really, really strong Civ on this map. I mean, it's sort of broken on this map, actually, because of how Ottoman plays. And there's not really a counter to it on the map, so Kevin might even just mirror it. But yeah, again, Ottoman pretty lame on this map, if you ask me. Obviously, it's a 4 TP stagecoach map. You can ATP on it very easily, and you also have a pond where galleys are better than caravels, which is really, really unfortunate. Kevin could play Sue, could play China. A number of civs he can play. But yeah, it's a difficult matchup for Kevin. Yeah, would not be surprised if Kevin picked China here. It's Botto because the joke is that Ottoman is really, really easy to play, and it's just a bot civ. There you go, Kevin picking China. It's going in. Ugh. See what both players are doing. They're going in now. Yeah, Kevin likes to play in yellow. Let him do that. And Perez still to green up. I'll quickly go get a drink of water while we're waiting. Again, this is why I dislike EPL, because players just talk to each other for a year before they've grown up. It can be bad with some players and 1v1s normally, but like this is just ridiculous. There's nothing to say between games basically, which is the problem, you know. What like the score is 2-2. There's still 3 games to go, of which any civs can be played. As you can see here, Ottoman versus China again. My game got crashed. So I all tapped. Great. Oh no, it's in. There you go. Perfect. Hopefully OBS can recognize it's open as well. Should be good. There you go. Game is open. But it is a wood start, which is better for China here than Ottoman. But there you go. Players walking around, doing what they want to do. Finding Kevin actually going to the wrong trading post. He wants to go to this one. This one's better. Although it is next to the I think it's next to the pond, and obviously the pond is really good for Ottoman, so you probably want to keep that protected, not lose a lot of HP there. Trading post going down for Perez at the same place, going right over to the right, and at the same time it does have that mosque in base. That's a weird bug. That mosque is see-through. That's a really weird bug. What the hell? I've never seen that happen before. I don't know what's going on with that, but yeah, Kevin obviously dropping some wood, trying to get his macro tight, which is quite hard as trying. He did pick up a wood treasure. No, he didn't. Neither player's even picked up a single treasure yet. If we look at treasures on the map, 50 coins there. This weird treasure which spawns in the middle, 20 coin. What else is there? There's 40 wood with 1 line. It's really nice. 80 wood for Perez, which is actually particularly nice. What else is there? 50 coin, 30 XP, and that coin treasure, which is awful. 50 coin as well. A lot more yaks for Kevin. Actually, 5 is really, really good. I believe there's only 5 on the map. Obviously, you do have a disciple, which allows you to get more. Let's put a bit of ambient noise on, otherwise it's a bit weird. There's the ambient one. There you go. But yeah, Kevin picking up 5 yaks, which is really strong as China, allows you to get up even quicker into the next stage if you want to, or use that at a later date, especially seeing as you have that village which acts as a livestock pen for 5 animals. That G Sum Sim C is going to come over from Kevin, goes to Northern Refugees, to be expected, aging with the Quartermaster for Ottoman, so he's going to go for a bit of an age 2 play, if that Quartermaster tells you anything. C deck, pretty standard. Again, advanced Arsenal in there for Ottoman, so he likes doing that speed. No water cards there. There is a Trade Empire card for Kevin, which actually I quite like. Effectively works as a trading post victual there, and allows you to get a trading post as China when you don't usually get one. It does have 2 Foons in deck, or 2 War Junks. as well as a Fukalan, as well as those 7-hand mortars, which these 7-hand mortars against Ottoman are very, very strong. They're they're good versus both well, no, the bug I'm talking about is you can see the top of this is bugging out because of the maybe it's just I can see it and you can't see it because of a bit. It looks like see-through.
Yes.
But I've got time to do it now as well. Like you can see, like the town centre's also see-through, but it's not as significant. Maybe I'm just being an idiot, or maybe it's just the berries are weird. But Perez going for a trading post. Actually sent 2 settlers forward as well, so he's going to go for the barracks as well. Oh, that's why.
Are you ready?
2-2.
Yes.
Alright, Kevin is ready. You can see though, Abbasid marketing coming in, or millet system is the first upgrade coming in. That Disciple is annoying one of those settlers. Would be fun if it got taken down, but I don't think it will. Yeah, Perez just taking over the trading post line, sending 2 villagers forward. Probably going to get some Janissaries out, take out that trading post from Kevin as well. Wonder going up quite close to the shore. Not entirely sure I like that. I would have preferred it to be sort of over here. Kevin just walking past 20 coin. I will put the fog of war to see what has been scouted even. There is still 30 XP in base. And that barracks is going up for Perez. So he's going to go for quite a standard Jan rush, I think is what he's going to do. Ottoman actually only has 24 cards as well, which is quite interesting. Mamluks and Deca, of course, as well. Bit of a wall coming down for Kevin there, using a bit of wood from just chopping it. But again, that barracks is on the complete opposite side of the map. 700 wood now coming in from Perez. A stable coming out, so it's going to be a Rax stable build, which is actually quite hard for China to deal with, actually. Although, if China just goes to a straight FF with the Arquebusero age up and you ship 9 Quang Pikemen in transition, I think you're fine. I don't know how quick you can do it as Ottoman, but I think it entirely depends on how quick China gets up. China has got enough coin to get up as well, but there's 5 Janissaries. He knows it's going to be a Janissary sort of timing because of the Janissaries going to the trading post, which gives a bit of leeway to Kevin. 2 disciples there as well. Bit of a wall there like that as well. Would like to see the pillars deleted. This is sort of a bruise wall, so there's going to be holes everywhere. And there's the chests of coin coming out, as well as those yaks. Actually going to be quite useful when he gets into Fortress Age. You get about a 6-minute timing where they actually are incredibly useful. That trading post is going to go down. Rose stagecoach on it. And Kevin is in a particularly bad spot actually because his eco is behind on Ottoman, and Ottoman is just so powerful on this map as a whole. Wall obviously is going to buy him some time, but there's holes in it because he hasn't walled correctly there, which is unfortunate. And 700 wood coming in, but he is aging in just a second. Slightly overgathering on the coin. 5 hussars as well coming in. Probably needs to send Chenkunu. Going up the Arquebusero, I wonder. He needs to... If he can micro this correctly, Kevin is fine. But again, he's just behind because he hasn't got a TP line. Which is why Ottoman is just so insanely powerful on this map. Those disciples are going to go down quickly. 10 Janissaries. Actually, if they got on that wonder, I think they actually destroy it as well, which is the funniest thing. A couple of Minutemen do come out as well, where sentries are going to take that hussars, which is nice. But again, I mean, Janissaries should be sucking if this TC all day, because it ends up with Perez not getting as many units out. Might lose a settler there. No, it doesn't. Kevin playing that well. 600 coin now coming in, so this is just a standard Janissary push. And that's not going to go up. In fact, if he stays on that wonder, he'll take it down, which is the funniest thing about it. There you go, look, you can see how much damage it does. It does repair a little bit. Actually, with the Arquebusers and the Chukanu popping as well as the pikes, he should be fine. Consulate is not going to go up though, which is unfortunate. He needs to ship pikes into position here, otherwise he's sort of fucked. He needs to get the consulate up as well, which is unfortunate, losing another settler. China now on the same unit eco population as Ottoman here. I think pikes have been in queue for a while now. 3 hussars now coming in. 3 hussars is a mistake actually here. Quite a big mistake. Especially seeing as how far they have to go now around. The pikeman will come out. And pikeman, there's the pikeman, but there's another janitor who needs to pop them in at the same time as well. Slightly mistimed. Pikemen do nice damage here. And he's going to lose another settler as well for 3, which is pretty poor micro there from Kevin. And there's just too many hussars here. This is just, it's not good for Kevin at all. Yeah, and Arquebusers pop here, and obviously they are units. He does have a shipment ready, and he can utilise the Yaks obviously, but the Arquebusers are just going to die to hussars here. He needed to time the pikeman better basically, otherwise it's just fucked up. Doesn't have a TP. He has 1 shipment in queue, probably intervention. If he can get that consulate up, he might be fine. But again, he's behind on eco versus Ottoman. Ottoman has the TP9, so it's roughly 20 villages, and it's not good. He's going to get the consulate up at least. But yeah. Oh, another villager not going down. But he's just been idle for so long, and you can look at the scores, 65 to 86, it's just mediocre, to say the least. 5 Janissaries now even coming in, but again, it's a bit of a mistake for Janissaries actually, because unless there's Abbas, there's no Abbas, so intervention just beats us. But again, he's so far behind now. Oh, a batch of Chukanu and pikemen, quite nice. Chukanu do decent damage to his Janissaries. This has been working this whole time, but he's just so far behind on eco. And the shipments aren't coming in quick enough. There's the redcoats coming in. It does have, actually doesn't have nearly enough because of the idle time. And these walls are just useless. Or these ones in particular. And actually for Janissaries, there's so many of them, they're just going to be doing quite well against the redcoats. So it does have the Yaks to block, which I do like. But again, this just isn't good for Kevin. If he defends this though, he will get a nice timing because of the Yaks coming out, and his eco will be very good for a small time. But not having the consulate up, not having the timing of those skirms has really hurt him. He's losing villages now, left, right and centre. Only 16 villages at this point. It's just not good for Kevin. And it just points out how good Ottoman is on this map. It's just insane. Kevin did 700 for wood, which may have been a mistake, but Ottoman now, higher eco, even getting in the eco cards now. 5 meteor hammers is nice here. They do quite well against Janissaries, but again, I mean, he's in a spot where maybe he can send the Fukal and just basically take 2 of these TPs and somehow get back into it, but I don't see it happening. There even is some Abbas comes out actually, which is really nice here. Probably can't take this fight, but he sort of needs to at the same time. Meteor Hammers do happily beat the Hussars here. Actually, there's no Janissaries. If you look at unit speed in Q, there is a batch of 1, but it probably won't come out, and these Abbas are going to get teared down. If that boat comes in, that hasn't been changed though, so that boat's not going to come in. But he needs what, Chang Dao, or he needs probably 11 arquebusiers here to, or 10 arquebusiers, not 11. Oh, don't know what's going on there. But yeah, Janissaries come out. He has to get away here, and there's only a couple of meteors left. Does have that batch from the He's on berries, but he also has yaks. He needs to eat the yaks really, otherwise it's not going to be doing too much. Like, he's on berries, and if he could transition to yaks, he'd probably dominate here. But he is now making, what are they called? Disciplined meteor hammers. He wants to get the boat out at some point. The Fukana is just so powerful. I mean, Manchu also really strong here, especially because his Ottoman Manchu are really, really good. But getting 1,000 coin, it's really quite hard here. And Otto is so far ahead on Eco now, and I think it does win. 10 arquebusiers. This is quite a big push. Otto isn't aging yet, notably. And he is just massing, and if Charlie can sort of get hold of that TP line, he should be fine. But I don't know who wins here actually. There's 13 anti-Janissary units, 5 Abascans or 4 Abascans coming out now, and a lot of Hussars there. He needs to be able to utilise the range, and basically if he defends the arquebusiers, he's fine. Gets nice snails on those units. Needs to keep these meteor hammers and the iron flails out. Probably needs to make a couple of disciples and now do some more. Light infantry hit points, hit points coming in. Probably not the best card here. Would have preferred Advanced Arsenal in this position. And he needs to get back here because of the Janissaries. A Flying Crow actually coming out. It's quite nice. It has a decent amount of siege. Does have 23 range, and against H2 it's really strong. He needs Chang Dao here though. That's all he needs. Or Manchu. Manchu would be very, very strong. But Kevin is stabilised here at least, somewhat. He is still quite significantly behind though. Unless he's coming forward, probably will get a shot off from Flying Crow on them. And there's not a lot of anti-cav here, which is what sucks here for Kevin. Yeah, that Flying Crow is going to go down. Probably should sack the Crow and get back in his base, which he's doing. Doesn't have any anti-cav here. The cavalry can go around the wall. Meteor Hammer's going to take down that Mohammed, whatever his name is. But Advanced Arsenal coming in now for Perez, and he's going to have really, really strong units. And yeah, Meteor Hammers and Iron Flails are good, but he needs something will just dominate the Ottoman army. He doesn't. Ottoman military unit population is now higher. Manchu here would be insane, but again, getting out Manchu here is very, very hard for Kevin, especially with no Porcentail. And he's also on berries as well. Ottoman having the free range of a map, having more eco, having 33 settlers to the because of the Abbasid market upgrade there. And now even getting in nice strong upgrades. 11 Chang Dao is nice, but it doesn't really do much against his Hussars. Now coming in with Kaworu Kuras as well, so they can have more HP. And there's not a lot of anti-Jan units, is there here? Nicely done here from Kevin though. Does get a good turn around with those Hussars. So those Hussars are going to go down to Chang Dao. There is 7 arquebuses left, 2 Shuken Nu, and 2 more of those Meteor Hammers. Another batch of Meteor Hammers to come out, which probably will be saving grace here. But it's just not looking good for Kevin at all. And that Kuras also came in at the right time. Those Hussars having sort of veteran Hussars HP. And this Ottoman army is just insane. This wall, I mean, imagine if that wall was completed and actually worked. How much time it would have bought for Kevin. I think that would have probably changed the game. Basically, he needs Manchu and he'll be fine. I think because like Abbas do, obviously they do quite well against Manchu, but they don't do too well. and Hussars do really badly against Manchu. Well, everyone knows that. So, really, I mean, I think it's on a ticking clock really for Kevin at the moment, which is unfortunate. And obviously that stagecoach line behind is just insane. Batch of 5 verticos do come out. Kevin massing the meteor hammers, but you can see, look how many units he has on coin, how many villagers he has on coin. I think that's what he's waiting for. He's waiting for that shipment, waiting for Manchu, and he's just going to go. But does he really win this? I mean, just look at the mass of the Ottoman here. Abasguns, Janissaries, all with advanced arsenal upgrades. These Janissaries. Actually, a flying crow coming in as well, which is quite nice. But he needs to keep it alive. It's in a position where it can just die to Abasguns, die to Hussars. Hussars are probably going to get on it. Abasguns doing that range attack damage would be negative. Multiple versus artillery doesn't matter, it still kills it. And it's just not good. Again, if he had Manchu earlier, he would have won. I feel he would have just cleaned. Thankfully, he does have some Arquebusiers in the back too, which do decent damage versus Janissaries and the Abasguns. Bit of stutter here, which is unfortunate. Loads of stutter here. I don't know who's causing it, but he basically needs Manchu. If he can get Manchu out in the next 10 seconds, maybe he'll be fine. He needs to pull these villagers back. Doesn't want to lose too much AK, even if it is so small now. I still think he's lost. I don't know who's causing the lag spikes. It seems not to be me. I'm still fine. But yeah, that Confucian Academy is going to go down, give a lot of XP, 240 XP there to the Ottoman player, and this is just over. Holy shit, it's really laggy. The hell? Yeah, this is where Manchu are going to come in. They're just about to come in, I think, for Perez. Not Perez, for Kevin. He's going to pop them on a village, more than likely. There's the Manchu coming out, but I don't think it even wins the fight now. He's just lost too many units. Especially with his units having... What the hell is this? Yoga in them, apparently. There's some Callies on the coast, which are just going to dominate. Yeah, this is over completely. Name's Kevin resigning. GG coming in from Perez, GG coming in from Kevin. Let's look at the military unit population. There's 76 compared to, what was it? Yeah, I don't think it's me. I'm retaining the same FPS the whole time. So I don't know. But you can see Kevin actually killing roughly equal amount of units, but just Ottoman had a better eco there. Look at all the resources gathered. It was so far ahead, almost double, which is pretty insane. But I'll come out. See what the next game is. It is Kevin to pick first. Yeah, I don't know who's like. I don't think it's me though. But I have to wait and see what the next game is. Perez can't play Ottoman. Kevin's finally yellow green for me, I guess. But yeah, it is Lumaco. A strong map for some of Kevin's picks, Germany especially. And yeah, Lumico, as I said, Kevin to pick. So yeah, Kevin to pick a Civ. Lumico is strong for Civs which need a trading post because it starts with an extra wood crate. Iroquois being very strong here, actually. Really, really strong. So yeah, we'll see what they pick on Lumico. I think Iroquois is standard for Kevin here. Kevin picked Otto instead, which is strong. You can go for 2 TP Otto, which is really strong. Perez can China, of course, which is really strong. See the same matchup again. Perez can't pick. Perez can't pick his Ottoman civilization, so he can't mirror it, so he has to pick something against it. Have to wait and see. So yeah, Perez to pick. Wouldn't be surprised if it was China. Again, time in between games is really, really annoying. There's nothing to talk about. Oh, that's okay. So Perez is just gonna pee and think apparently. So I'm just gonna sit here silent and not say anything. This is pointless. China from Perez, which took apparently 10 minutes to choose. But let's see. I didn't mean to do that. Shit. It's not going to launch. If it does launch, I won't be in game. Oh, it did launch. Great. Anyway, Lumico. I'm up. You start with an extra wood coat. Which is good for both civs. Probably better for Ottoman. Probably going to see a repeat of the last game. You basically can get... you always get a TP. You always get a mosque on this map. Is how it ends up working out. It's also a wood start, so Ottoman can actually just go for 2 TPs, which is insane. Like, it's just beyond bad. Beyond, like, good. It's just ridiculous. You basically go with 400 wood and you can get stagecoach straight away. You probably want to go Silk Road. Isn't a bad idea. There you go. There's that thing going down. Kevin probably shouldn't build a mosque, as that 100 wood is useless. It's better to go 2 TP. I guess he's just going to build a mosque straight away. Or maybe he'll go 2 TP early on. It is 2-2 to Perez. So there's still 2 more games to play. There you go. Treasure being picked up, 40 XP. At the same time, Perez going to be finding, what is that, 70 food on 40 XP of his own. Picks it up. There you go. There's a stun. Black Bear gets attacked. And the Black Bear gets attacked. So let's have a look at the decks of both players. Same deck that Perez used earlier, actually. Exactly the same deck as Ottoman versus India versus China early on. Kevin's deck, pretty standard. Does have advanced Arsenal in there. Probably changed because of how Perez played earlier. And it also does have even Eco Theory in there, which I would have preferred Silk Road, I think. Especially on this map, but yeah, not really much to say. Both players doing the same sort of builds. Northern Refugees coming in. Gonna pick up that Black Bear and pick up 40 XP. There you go. 40 food being picked up. Also has 45 food and base, which you can pick up quite easily. 80 XP as well. 2 stray dogs. 2 for what? Is that only 1 stray dog or 2? A stray dog for 2 black bears isn't too bad either, but it's only really good for treasures and early on. There you go. You can see Kevin chopping a lot of wood. Has he got any settlers going forward? He doesn't have any settlers going forward. This map is a lot easier to wall than the last map, which is one thing to note. What is he going out with? Text being researched. He's going out with Quartermaster, which is 400 wood. He doesn't see any settlers going forward. So maybe he's just... Actually, he's chopping some coin as well. So that... he's also chopping more wood. Well, that's Perez. I'm an idiot. Kevin is just doing normal stuff. Perez, I think, chopping enough wood just for a wall. There you go. 2 wall pieces there from China. There you go. Wall going down. Kevin picking up his treasure there. There you go, 30 coin. Anyway, 400 wood drops to the floor. I think Kevin is actually just going to go age up by the looks of it, unless he's got some villagers forward, which he doesn't, so he's just going to go for an FF, which I don't know how well it works versus China, actually. I don't think it really works too well, because China's obviously has really, really strong FF potential themselves, and does have a meteor hammers, which do really incredibly well against artillery because of that range. They have a 5 range. Perez in his base doing standard China stuff, not really much to note here. There's a barracks coming forward from Kevin, but it's late, so I don't know how useful that's going to be. I think he's just going to go there and utilise that as an age up potential. 700 wood now coming forward, so he's going to be really quite slow with his push because he didn't go for well, basically any forward barracks early on. So yeah, I don't know what he's doing here. Is that a dock going to go down for Perez? I think that's going to be going down for a dock, which is quite nice. But yeah, not really much to note really going on here, especially seeing as that villager good gets snared, so that dock's not even going to go up. So I think you're just going to see the standard stuff stable going down as well. There you go, there's 5 Janissaries coming in. Going to be going around. Won't even get very much done, I don't think. Yeah, China's just going to be aged up in a second. Although China actually has a significantly low amount of coin. I'm just going to get this coin there. 700 coin now coming in. He's just going to go for the same build again, but it's not going to be doing very well. Because it's just basically a worse version of what Perez just did. Which I'm slightly confused by. Yeah, so Kevin going with barracks and a stable, which is to be expected. There's the trading post going down. There's going to be a siege down. Stagecoach is on there. But again, China's just getting to age 3 now with the Arquebus Air Wonder. Not going to be doing too well with Jans and Cav against that. I mean, China even being able to get that consular probably, and it just doesn't look good for Perez. I mean, I think this is just the wrong move to do for Kevin. Even an FF would have been better here, really. 5 Cav now coming out, but it's just not. It's 10 Janissaries and 5 Cav at 6.5 minutes, and China's going to be half aged up, have that consular up, and it's just going to be basically the same as last game, but slower and not as aggressive with less stagecoach. It's going to lose a settler though. But you see at the same time, actually a couple of settlers are going to go down here. Number 1 going down. Does lose probably 2 here, and Chukunu do come out. That consulate not going up again is really important here. If that consulate goes down, that will be spelled pretty bad for Kevin, for Perez, but unfortunately Kevin goes for that marking instead, and that consulate probably going to go up unless he just sieges it straight siege it. He needs to get it down, but he won't do. Actually, Kevin aging now, so he's going to be doing the damage. He is just losing units here for no reason, though, which is pretty poor. Although Janissaries they're probably one of the best units to siege with, actually, so not too bad there. Guys get a couple of hussars now blocked. Not doing too much damage. Arquebus says come out, so he has to get out of here now with the consulate up, the Minutemen, and I don't know. It just isn't a very good push from Kevin at all. It doesn't really do much. Kevin is aging now. What is he aging up with? Takes being research. I think that's the fast age of the Exile Prince. There you go. So Kevin will have a timing in the Fortress Age. But if he just straight FF'd, his timing would be much better. Bit of lag there. I don't know what that's about. But yeah, I mean, he does have a stagecoach, so he is ahead on eco. But again, he's not so far ahead when it's dominatory. intervention coming in. This just beats the whole composition. So actually, Perez can just push here and take down that FB very easily. I mean, if some Falconets come in and you get sort of another batch of 5 Jans and veteran Janissaries, 8 Janissaries coming in now, he's still going to lose because of the Arquebus there. So I'm not entirely sure of his build from Kevin. There you go, enough Janissaries there to defend the Falconets, and the Falconets will come out next, but it's just a slow build. As once you get 5 Meteor Hammers out, there's the 5 Meteor Hammers. Remember, these have 5 range. They 4 hit a... Actually, I think it's 3 hit. Yeah, they 3 hit a... Yeah, they 3 hit a Falconet. So really, Falconets don't stand too well against China simply because of it, and because of China's funny mass. They end up just dominating because of it, which is what's unfortunate. But yeah, Ottoman not in the best of positions here. He does have 50 food and base he actually neglected as well, which is interesting to see. That Explorer not also doing anything. There you go. Veteran Hussars coming in. So he's going to go for Jan Hus. But again, he's just giving China time for China to build up his mass, dominate. And really, I mean, it's just dominates, isn't it? China has more units. China has more unit potential. There's the village going up. There's the trading post going up on the right hand side. And really, there's not much to say about this build, except for me, just masses of China. That's all he's doing. Manchu come out as well, and he just dominates. I mean, or even the Ming troops here would be quite good. Changdao would be good. Anything China can send here is good against that. 2 Falconets. And this will be a push from Kevin, but I don't think it really wins, especially seeing as now Kevin is roughly equal on eco as the Ottoman Civ. It doesn't really have a follow-up after this. There's not really much to say. And yeah, I mean, there's a number of veteran Janissaries, so if we look at units being in queue, there is some hostiles in queue, maybe not. And Perez is just taking a map here, and there's not really much to say about it. Village going up as well. A lot of Janissaries here, but no Janissary combat means they're not as powerful as we've seen earlier. And yeah, he just needs the Falconets to do damage here and sort of get lucky through that. Otherwise, Perez is just dominating, unfortunately. There you go. And, going down. Falconet getting a nice shot off from one of those musketeers. One of those is half HP. 11 Changdao now coming in, which defends against the Hussars. Although there actually isn't that many Hussars in there. And there you go. Even that Flying Crow coming in, if he doesn't snipe it down, will do decent damage. The Meteor Hammers are going to get on those Falconets, and they're going to go down really, really quickly. Perez is going to take down those Falconets, so Meteor Hammers as goes down, and this army from Ottoman just gets dominated by this Chinese army, especially with that Flying Crow in the background doing good damage. Although saying that, a lot of these Changdao are down now, actually, and if there's another batch of Hussars in queue, Redcoats, there's not a lot of Redcoats left. I think Janissaries actually might win this fight. If he can get the Redcoats down, he's won the fight with Janissaries. It's all about the Micro here and I think Perez still wins, actually. Got to forgive it, especially seeing as there's now a couple of Disciples in queue which will defend. And, yeah. This is pretty much over already. Even with the stagecoach line there, there's not a huge amount Ottomans can do. A batch of five Hussars do help. And 5 Hussars actually coming out as well. But again, there's the possibility of Redcoats now coming out. There's no more Changdao here, but again, I mean, I think he just needs to squish this in and he might be fine. It depends entirely if he can focus down those redcoats. He should be completely fine. Chang Dao's still alive. We'll look at military units here. There is still 3 redcoats alive and 1 that... actually, no, this is complete. This is going to be a cleanup. Unless there's a Manchu coming out, this is a cleanup. And if Manchu do come out, it's a domination by Perez, the opposite. 5 more redcoats do come out, or 6 more redcoats do come out. Bit of lag here. I don't know who's causing that. Definitely not me. But yeah, I mean, this is maybe a cleanup. I don't know who wins this actually. A lot of villagers on that bottom hunt. Redcoats do good damage, obviously, but they're all down. But if we need to be careful not to lose too many of these Huss. Kevin is only on 25 villagers. He's about eco and eco, but yeah, he's off this hunt now, and he needs more Janissaries now because 10 arquebusiers come out as well. Imagine if he just pushed in now as well. There's not going to be any anti-cavalry coming in. Calls of 1,000 wood. A nice shipment, but maybe not the right time, not the opportune moment to send it because you're on aggression. Chang Dao doing some good damage. Military units there. There is 15 arquebusiers left. He needs a batch of 5 hussars coming in. No hussars in queue. No units in queue actually from Kevin, but yeah, these disciplined Chang Dao are going to get taken down, maybe. Yeah, a couple of them do get taken down. Nicely put into cover mode there. He needs more. He needs more hussars, really. And he probably needs hussar combat, or even Spahi. Spahi would be good here, or Egyptian Mamluks would be really good here. Either two would be good. Territorial army, Spahi would be insane here, because they're really, really good against the composition of the arquebusiers and discipline Changova. Somehow I had the music where there's no show, but thank you for Ampheron6 for subscribing. Thank you very much. But yeah, I mean, veteran hussars there and veteran Janissaries are going to be doing good damage, at least. If he can get a number of them out. He needs one of those good shipments out from Ottoman. Does have another town centre going up on the coast. Might end up landing in a sort of stalemated game. But you can see Perez now going for the Manchu cavalry archers. Which there's not really much you can do as Ottoman to beat. And these units here, the disciplined Chang Dao, the disciplined arquebusiers are just really, really strong. And going for this sort of eco-heavy. Imagine if 1,000 wood was something like 5 Spahi. Instead, he would have cleaned that fight completely and won the game. Unfortunately, now that the Manchu coming in, he's behind on score now, and he's going to be behind even more so on score when the Manchu come in, when it does dominate. And really, it's not looking too good. Unless he somehow builds an arsenal and just dominates, but he's going to get... Kevin's going to get the Egyptian Mamluks out, probably, but it's not going to make a difference because Manchu does beat Egyptian Mamluks, right? Flying Crow as well, going forward. Helps against Janissaries at least. Abbas guns also in queue. But he needs to get a number of Abbas guns out and the veterancy out. Well, he actually does have a veterancy. But he probably needs sort of 10, 15 Abbas guns to really do anything about it. And I don't think that's really going to happen before the push comes in. Manchu as well are particularly good against Abbas guns as well. The revolt would also be somewhat strong here if he was able just to quickly do it. It does have 2 town centres though, so I don't know how useful that would be, but revolt would be quite strong, simply because he has a lot of hussars, and obviously the colonial militia do very, very well against the Manchu. and I believe Manchu for Perez are going to come in just a second. These Arquebusiers are incredibly strong now, and then also you do have the possibility of sending repelling volley as China, which is really, really strong. Honestly, I don't think a revolt would be too bad for Perez here, for Kevin. If he were to somehow queue it and get a number of veteran Hussars in queue, go up with the Hussars in age, it'd be fine. But yeah, I mean, Manchu come in and he just loses. He's going to lose that Crow though from Abbas. To see how good Abbas are. Manchu to come in. These are really, really strong as units, and I think the opposite to Manchu are going to come in, which are Mamluks at some point coming in for Kevin. He must see the units. I will put on. There you go. I'll put those down on. Not any units of snare here, which is what he needs. Obviously, those hussars are sort of useless now, which is so peculiar. 1,000 point does fuel the Abbas mass, I guess. And Manchu are actually just getting attacked by hussars, which is pretty funny. But again, I mean, what is there really to do against Manchu here for the Ottoman civilization? Manchu just does so well against all their units. There's that flanker also does a decent amount of damage in the back, and the mass is just dead. And I don't think there's any way he can win here as Ottoman. And his forward base is going to go down. He is ahead on eco still, which is one of the saving grace, but he's never going to be allowed to be massive enough. And unfortunately, those Arquebusiers are so strong now that Abbas guns actually don't fare too well even against him because of the extra range. Although he doesn't want to be fighting like this. This is not how you fight against Abbas guns. That you kite them at least because they're slow rate of fire. But again, he's just losing so many Abbas. There's so many Manchu left alive, and this is just over. I don't understand what the Falcon was used for. There's no Mamluk shipment. Imagine if Mamluks were even if the Manchu are, they do decent damage, they just tank a lot. And another barracks going down, repelling volley now even coming in, so his units are insane against basically everything you have, and there's basically nothing you can do. Especially now as there's sort of 2 batches of Chinese cavalry coming in. 5 Spahi coming in, which is mediocre at best against this. 5 Abbas guns also come into the mass. 5 Spahi will at least allow some of those units to survive, I guess, but it's not going to do anything. I mean, Spahi they're not great units. They're good, but they're only good against certain compositions, and this composition is not one of them. And Perez just wins. Minutemen even coming out, this is sort of a large ditch effort from Kevin. And there's the GG coming in. Kevin losing, when to be honest he was quite far ahead most of the game, especially here. Not here. Here he was quite far ahead at sort of time when he just allowed the Manchu to get up, and that's really what won in the game. Perez. It is what's his face? Perez's choice to pick first, I guess. Yeah, so Perez to pick first on the first map, so Kevin can at least counter pick him. It is Fraser here. Prefers to pick first. Again, I'm just going to go quiet until one of them pick because they're going to take 5 years to do it. But yeah, I have to wait till I pick.
Yes.
Perez picks Japan, which is one of the saves Kevin struggles against. So I don't know what he's going to pick. Oh, you heard my keyboard ring? I could do it every time, see? Oh, I just muted it. There's my dog. It's not sticky keys anyway. It's mouse keys. And that's Spain coming in for Kevin. Which is, it's quite a good matchup actually, Spain. Japan, we don't normally see it. There you go, Spain, Japan. They're finally running in. There you go, finally. The game launches, throws over, map, which you have to push up your base relatively quickly to get resources, which makes Spain very good because obviously Spain, when they FF, are really strong. They can push very quickly, which isn't good for Japan because Japan struggles against civs which have cannons early on. But yeah, the crate start here I guess matters a bit. Spain doesn't want it to be a wood start. Spain wants it to be a coin start, really. It is actually just a food start, which is probably the best thing for Spain. Allows you to age up quickly. It allows you to get a TPN transition, but it also doesn't allow China to allow Japan to get their crates to get up and going. 50 food in base for Japan, quite a good treasure. 20 coin in base for Spain. Spain also finding that 30% XP, but also finding 40 wood, which is quite nice. As for other treasures, there are a lot of coin treasures apparently on this map, as well as 90 coin. What's this one? That's going to be 120 XP, which is really strong actually. What's this one? Nearly mature bear cup, which is an incredibly strong bear, which basically allows you to take loads of treasures. 50 food. That's about it. That's nothing else. Oh, there's stuff over here as well. That's coin treasure, 30 coin, and 50 food. So, yeah, some decent treasures on the map. But, oh, looks like Kevin's just going to go pick up the 3 coin treasures whilst his thing reloads. If we look at the Fog of War being off, he does spot another one up here, 20 coin. There you go. Picks up the coin. Also spots every coin over there, and probably will spot the treasure just here, which is 90 coin, which you'll probably pick up, which is actually really good for Spain. It allows you to get up without chopping or cutting a lot of chopping. What am I saying? Mining a lot of coin, which is really nice. There you go. Picks up that 90 coin. And let's have a look at the decks of each player. Perez does have a pretty standard deck. I think that's the deck he played with earlier, so I'm not going to say anything about it. Kevin's deck, obviously, it is Spain, so it's a bit interesting. It does have Unction, which is quite nice. It does also have Spanish Gold, which is 400 coin each time you send a shipment thereafter. 2 Falconets, which is strong. Obviously, one of the strongest things for Spain. Caballeros adds a 1-hand attack range, I think. And also increases the number of lancers. The attack lancers do. Also does have Industrial Revolution and that factory in the last stage, but that's not really much to talk about. Really quite a standard deck, except from probably hand infantry combat, which is pretty mediocre actually, as you don't really want to be making rods against you don't want to be making rods against Japan. But he does pick up 50 food here, and I believe he's probably edging of his standard build with the governor, which I believe is coin. Oh, Perez went for a Portuguese consulate on a non-wood start. So this is interesting. Perez is going to be very late to age. He's not going to be late to age. He's going to be relatively slow as a whole, because it wasn't a wood start. So he's going to be, somewhat slower with his economy and his build. He needs to basically FF here, I think, normally. And by the looks of it, both players going over that nearly mature bear cub. Perez being the one using his things. ATP coming in. This is good. ATP is really good, but that bear cub is particularly good actually if he does get ATP in. But if you can get all 4 trading posts and get like a strong age-free timing, as Spain is really strong, he might even revolt. You never know. He might do the old Vovolt or whatever it's called, where you just revolt and make a load of trading posts. His deck doesn't have the 8 house actually, so I doubt that's going to happen. I doubt that's going to be the thing that ends up happening. But yeah, ATP is really strong here, basically allowing you to get double the amount of trading posts that you should be able to. Looks of it, Perez wants to get a trading post himself, unless he's just posturing around here. Yeah, he gets. Oh, does Kevin get it? Yeah, Kevin gets the hit on it. There's the outpost wagon coming around fast for speed there, and also apparently 20 siege resist for some reason. But yeah, you can see that trading post going down. Trading post at the top also going down. Perez trying to get over there, trying to steal trading post of his own, doesn't get it. And actually, this is really quite bad for Perez. He's basically delayed 2 of his shrines because of this. Kevin is going to have a ever so slightly slower age 2 to age 3, but he's already just, obviously you get 200 coin on the edge up there, and he's also going to send 700 coin next and get up really quickly, and you just get a super strong age 3 with this ATP if you can pull it off. And there's the wall coming down from Perez, but I don't know. And really, I mean, the outpost being so far forward means that you can just be really fast as Kevin here. I mean, dogs plus rods plus, or dogs plus pikes plus falconets just do really well against the Japanese civ, and especially once you get ATP and you can get so many shipments in it, it's insane. 700 wood probably going to come in next. Does have 100 wood, probably wants to spend that on a house somewhere. Don't know how he has exactly 100 wood, but that's quite perplexing. Again, no, he is somewhat slow. Probably going to be edging up around 630 from how much food he has. And there's 700 wood coming in as well. Probably going to utilise that and get at least one of these Cheyenne settlements, or it's Cheyenne. I thought it could be Nootka, but yeah, there you go. Perez aging up with that coin as well. Going to be utilising the 2 Flaming Arrow shipment against the Falconets. But again, if the push is so quick, I'm not entirely sure who actually wins. Even going to be picking up 30% HP on that Spanish Explorer, which is quite nice because obviously you like to make dogs in Spain normally. Japan going to be going up slightly slower, but because of the slow age of Spain, probably around the same time actually. I went to account for it. And because he's on Portuguese culture, he's only got 140 shrines at the moment, but he is ahead on eco population as well. Barrett's coming down quite well. It's not forward, but it's outside of his base, obviously, which is what you like to see. Market also coming. No, it's not market. It's a house. And settler over here. So yeah, I think it's just going to be a standard sort of FF from Spain here. And you can see how many shipments he's going to have. Kevin actually did just send a shipment, so that's probably going to be 8 pikes or 7 rods. And he's going to utilise that and probably just going to go straight Falconets straight after that. In the back, we do have Musketeers in queue, so he's going to have Musk Pike or Musk Rod or something like that to actually just beef up his units and go forward. 600 wood now getting sent again from Perez as he ages to the next stage. I don't know what one of that is. That looks like the Shogunate to me. Yeah, it is the Shogunate, so that allows you to get a daimyo and a shipment out, which is particularly important because you need the shipment for those 2 Flaming Arrows, really. Flaming Arrows having slightly more range than Falconets. There's 5 Falconet, 5 Musketeers, and it's 5 Settlers in queue, which is quite good. Allows you to get slightly better eco. Aged up with 4 Hussars to be expected. Gonna run around those, try and pick off probably this Renault guy over here. A couple of these Musketeers are sieging the shrines. Wall gonna go down as well, probably from the Hussars simply. Bestieros are on the field for Perez, and that Daimyo Masume is also there, which is quite useful because you can use it as a shipment point. Looking at this in queue, there are Ashes in queue for Perez. There's the Bestieros. Spanish Gold actually coming in instead. Quite like that. Bit of an eco approach, but it does give Japan more time to get a unit mass out. But again, Kevin probably wants to get Stagecoach on this as well at some point. And if we look at Kevin's deck, doesn't really have anything that could utilise a huge amount of gold. It does have 1,000 wood, which is quite nice. Might actually, well, 1,000 wood. If he goes 1,000 wood next, it's the robot build, isn't it? As a revolt, but I doubt he's going to do that. But that's a lot of disciplined Ashigo and nothing to really attack them. Nothing to really counter his Ashigo. There is some Musketeers of his own, but he doesn't want to lose those. He does take down the wall. Wants to get back. It's a lot of hustles going down for a wall though. For 5 wood. And that wall just going to go straight back up again, showing you the power of walls. And Perez now on 200 shrine pop, now making Naganatas. Number of those veteran Musketeers coming out, and Spanish Gold 1,000 wood now coming in. Is this an FI? I don't know if this is an FI. No, because he doesn't have 2 heavy cannons, so it makes no sense if it is an FI. disconnected. That's not too good. But yeah, Kevin losing that fight quite decisively. Not too good indeed. Does have a number of musketeers coming up behind it. The Ashigaru are really, really strong. Doesn't have the 2-factor shipment. Oh, Lancers coming behind is quite nice, but again, Lancers, when they're in hand-to-hand combat with Naginata's don't do too well. He's going to lose this fight almost certainly, as also does have, was it Fine Coin back here, losing settlers to that. Like 5 Naginatas getting shipped to the man, whatever his name is, Damio. Doesn't want to go forward. He needs to contest for that outpost, and shipping trying to go forward is really, really awkward. Actually, incredibly awkward. He probably should have given up that outpost and just sent it back home and get on with the mass at home. But it doesn't look good for Kevin. Five lancers or 4 lancers coming out now. A batch of 5. Musketeers do come in as well. 4 lancers coming over the side. They're going to get the Daimyo down, which is quite big if they do get it down. But these lancers are just dying so quickly to these ashes. They're just insane. 4 lancers did come out as well. I don't know if they've even come out. They've come out over here. More gold being shipped forward. Look how much gold's there. There's like 1,000 gold there just being shipped forward, and it's not going to getting taken out. Eight ashes being shipped now. This is just, I don't know what just happened there. Someone apparently just lagged, but yeah, there's not a lot could be done here. Look how much coin is there. It's just like 600 coin just sitting on the floor. Spanish gold, I think, was a mistake. Imagine if it was 2 falconets and it just dominated. 9 Rodaleros now coming in. Obviously Rodaleros are quite good, but they're not good against this. And really, there's no Kevin can win this. Kevin's just so far behind. Look at the score, 103 to 165, and there's barely any point being in the game anymore, really. And there's a GG coming in from Kevin. So Perez winning the series 5-2 overall, resulting in MDS being up 3 points already.